Saturday evening. Hope some of y'all about to go out and have a good time tonight, or if you're staying in the house and having a good time tonight. And guess what? I hope you are hanging out with somebody who isn't selfish. That's right, because we know that at times we all could be selfish. At times, we all want that last piece of chicken. At times, we all want to just say, you know what? I'm just going to do all of this for me. And guess what? There's plenty of time to do that. But as a friend and as a good friend, that's not the way we want to be. You ever deal with somebody before, you first start dating somebody and you go out with them and you just notice, especially for my guys, and you notice that, you're just paying, and then you're paying, and then you're paying again. And sometimes you get some women who will be like, oh, okay, you know what? You don't have to worry about it. I know this is the 12th date, or 12th time us going out. So, I'll leave the tip this time. Well, that's nice and that's cute. But a better thing would be to offer to pay for it and let the guy tell you, you know what? No, you know what? I got it. But selfishness. And I think the issue with selfishness is that some people don't even realize that they're selfish. They don't even know. Because, I think when I was younger, some of the things I used to do, they were selfish, like, of course, towards me. But at least when I was being selfish, I felt like I still had like an inclusive thing where I still wanted other people to get something out of the deal. And I thought that I was still a pretty genuine, generous person when it came down to even my selfishness. Because I would still give. I still wanted to make sure everybody had a good time. I still wanted to make sure, everybody was included in on the party or the celebration. But that was just me. So a lot of times my selfishness didn't harm or hurt anybody else. Have you ever had somebody you went out with before? And I'm talking about, this could even be the guys, the homies, homegirls, whomever. You go out and as soon as you go sit at the bar, either they'll order themselves a drink and just sit there, and then you got to say, all right, well, I guess I got to go order my own drink. Or you go out and every single time you have to be the one to buy the first round, or you have to buy the drinks. Shout out to my homie Will and Barber. I'm going to tell you something. My man Will Bust, this guy always, him and my homie Jake, they always are quick to go, hey man, what you drinking? What you such and such? Sometimes even makes me feel bad, but I definitely return the favor. But I have been in plenty of situations like that before. You go out with people and it's like, they act like they came with you, but when it's time to buy some drinks, they act like they don't know you. You ever been in that situation before? Or, I could even respect this one. All right, you get the first round, G, I got the next round. Cool, I'm even good with that. But selfishness. And I'm just touching on the surface, as far as certain selfish things, because the thing with selfishness is that a person who's truly selfish, guess what it does? It runs throughout. And the only times, or a lot of times when they're not unselfish, is when they feel like doing something for someone else. When they have enough money to do something for someone else. You know how a lot of times an unselfish, for the most part, person will think, hey, listen, I got $50. But I could tell that this person really needs $20 of this money. So I got to figure out a way to still roll with the other $30 and still make things happen. And say to a person, here, you know what? I got you. Don't worry about it. Here's the $20. Now I'm using that as a lower level as far as money, but just to drive the point home where a lot of times people will say, oh, I'm not selfish. But they only do stuff for certain people. They'll only do stuff at certain times. They'll only do stuff when they're financially up. And sometimes some people may say, well, if you don't have any money, you can't really help people out. That's not true. Because most of us have credit. Most of us have different things where we can try to help other people out when it comes down to it, if we're in these types of friendships or situations. But you know what a lot of people will do? I'm sorry, let me take that back. Not a lot of people. What selfish people will do? Selfish people will act like they didn't even hear you say what you just said. You might not even be telling them to get any help from them. You may just be, because y'all close, y'all friends, or you're dating a person. So you may just be saying it just to, say it to get it off your head. Like, yo, I'm stuck, I'm behind, and a couple of different things or whatever. And they'll just not even act like they heard what you just said. Because sometimes as a friend, all another friend needs to hear is, listen, man, you cool, I got you. What can I do? Sometimes even when I don't have money, you know what I'll do? I'll say, you know what? I'll pick a bill. I'll be like, yo, you need me to chip in on your electric bill? You need me to, help you out this way or help you out that way? Like any little thing possibly I can do, because I know financially things get hard for people. And then, wanting to give people stuff where they don't even have to give it back. If they, can't afford to do it. Just selfish. Time. You ever had a person, and I talk to my friends about this all the time, especially when it comes to dating. Time. Talked about this before. You ever had a person say to you, I got a lot going on. I'm so busy. I'm so backed up. I'm so this. I'm so that. And what I had to learn how to do was release those people. And sometimes it's a hard thing to do, but you got to release those people. Because the funny part about life is that the only thing more valuable probably than money or people, but as far as things that are tangible, is time. Because once today is gone, it's gone. So it's funny how, like, you'll date, you'll talk, you'll do this stuff, and a person will tell you how they don't have the time. And I always say to people, if somebody can't make the time for you, then you don't need to make the time to even entertain them. Because, like I always talk about at these big ages, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, people should know what they want. People should know what they're getting themselves into. Nobody has coerced you. Nobody has forced you to give somebody their number. Nobody has done that. But what people will constantly do is tell you that they don't have time, or I don't have time to do this, or I don't have time to do that. And the great answer for me is always, well, I don't curse on here. Probably a lot in real life, but on here. But it's BS. And I'm just saying that for us because, a lot of people will waste your time on that. So I'll just tell you, as far as for me, like I said, my way to deal with it is that bye-bye. It's okay. You know what I mean? Because eventually there'll come other people, women, who have the time. Who say, hey, look, you know what I'm saying? I want the time. I enjoy the time. And I'm going to make the time. So watch being around selfish people. And the beauty about selfish people is that they're so selfish, it doesn't take long for them to show their selfishness. Now, lastly, you got some people that are good. They got a little bit of selfishness in us, because we all do, depending on how you grew up. Some people are about self-preservation, or they had to feel like they had to be in survival mode. A lot of times I find a lot of women act like they're in survival mode. So they're worried about themselves first, and then everything else comes after that. So I understand that also. But to be unselfish is to be thoughtful, is to be a person that says, hey, look, let me think about this other person. Even though we all are trained and we think about ourselves first, but let me take some time to think about this other person even before I interact with them. So make sure you go out with somebody this weekend, get them a drink, buy the first round, stop being a cheapskate. And girl, if you give somebody your number, call the boy or let them call you and have a good conversation. But live life. Don't let life live you.